Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
You both looked around like, oh, I like your setup, Deb. Cole, you're still connecting to audio. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes, see if anybody else shows up. Yeah.
Sounds good.
So at some point, I'm going to run away and put my kids on the bus because they had a 2-hour delay, and then I'll run back.
Sounds good. Was there that much snow? I didn't think there was that much snow. It looked
Like
all puffy.
2 inches, but Upper Adams, it's all mountains up here. So if the buses can't get around, that's the issue.
I guess it was pretty slick this morning. A number of places. A lot of accidents.
Ah. I don't know. I don't go anywhere anymore, so.
Do you work from home, Katie, or you go into the office?
I normally go into the office every day, but I'm house sitting right now, so I have a whole entire house all to myself. So there's no reason for me to leave.
I haven't been into the office. Seems like forever.
Yeah. I mean, there's still quite a bit of activity that's happening in the office. That's why I like it. And I just get so much more done when I'm in there. So I can't work from home anymore. I'm taking roll call. And Ashley, okay, let's get started. Is everybody, it looks like everybody's good. Okay, so today it was going to be another mastermind, and I'm going to mention a couple things that are coming out in Family Reunion. I will say that they have held back a lot of what they're presenting and haven't even let us know yet. So I'll be excited to see what happens on those tech calls. One thing I do want to mention that is if you are attending Family Reunion, hold on, there are 2 more people. Okay. Now I gotta write names down. Sorry, guys.
I went in to register today. I thought I had already registered, but it's asking for a coupon discount or a discount code. Is there any that exists anymore?
No, I might reach out to Rachel before you totally enter because they might have bought a packet of them. So you can get them at a discounted price through the Market Center. I haven't heard that they did that, but you never know. So
Okay.
I spoke to Rachel about the coupon code just 2 days ago, and she said that there was no code and she didn't offer like a packet or anything. So
there you go.
Very good.
Okay, so I am going to talk a little bit about what you guys can expect to see at Family Reunion, as well as any new things that I have heard about. I will say that they've been very tight-fisted with what is coming out for Family Reunion. And I think that's just because they've been doing more of the usability aspect of it than the actual announcements. One big thing, and I kind of mentioned this in our Facebook page, is the triggers in smart plans and campaigns are now available, which is really helpful, and it will make your whole business automated, which is nice. Something else that is really cool for Family Reunion is if you feel that you just don't have the time to ever work on your database and you can't set aside the time, they have actually scheduled in times every day to actually join a Zoom, and the whole goal of the Zoom is to work on your database. So if you have any questions while you're in that Zoom, they have people there that can answer and help you through those processes. But the whole goal of that section is to work on your database and grow that database and your command platform. So that's kind of cool. I mean, I think it's a 2-hour session every day that they have available for that. I know that Josh Team and Gary Keller are also announcing some big announcement. They're holding very close chested. I'm going to guess that it's the mobile app. So Command Mobile most likely will be announced as either coming out at Family Reunion or announced as to when it will be coming out. That'll make our whole system mobile, which is really nice. So Command you'll now be able to do on your phone. And with that, that app is also going to encompass Kelly. So they stopped doing updates to Kelly about a year ago because they have been starting this new app, and the new app is going to have Kelly within it. So the AI. Something else to mention, you guys, and I don't know how much you've been paying attention to what's been going on in the real estate world, but I do think that it's a big deal and I do want to mention it. So Zillow is purchasing Showingtime. So they're purchasing Showingtime for $500,000 and, or 500 million, 500 something. And that's a big deal because what's going to happen, and you are going to want to start using this on your listing presentations for when you talk to sellers, is that now Zillow is going to be able to schedule appointments for clients and give them access to the houses without having a real estate agent there. Would you feel comfortable as a seller letting anybody in your home without knowing that there is somebody there representing them? So we have to be very careful with that kind of stuff and knowing what's going on, because it has a big impact on where our industry is going and the tech portions of it. So that was just something to note. I also had to laugh at, there are 2 videos going around right now that are very tech oriented. One of them is on Zillow. It's an SNL video on Zillow, and I posted it on our Facebook page. If you want a good laugh, that is hilarious. And I'm very happy to tell you that Remax was chosen and not Keller Williams for that video. The second video that's going around is of a judge talking to other judges in Texas. He has a filter on and can't figure out how to get the filter off. It's a cat filter. So he looks like a cat. So both of those are very humorous videos that are very relevant in today's date. And I just wanted to mention both of those. So with that all being said,
it's interesting. It's
sure.
interesting you said about Zillow buying Showingtime, because I got a request on Monday. Somebody requested information through Showingtime for for me to get back to him. It's actually a referral reaching out, and it just seemed to be a buyer, a regular buyer. And I'm thinking, how did this person get a hold of Showingtime?
Showingtime does do that, yeah. So if they have somebody that calls into them asking about information on the property, they'll send it to the listing agent, which probably will not happen anymore. So, but just to note, and if you have a seller that's very nervous about that kind of stuff, just think about possibly having everything scheduled through you now. Because again, Zillow's taken all that information and using it. Go ahead, Sandy. You're on mute.
It's kind of like making them go with Zillow, because if you don't go with Zillow, you're not going to get your leads.
Exactly.
So you got for Zillow.
It's a big data grab right now that Zillow is doing. So we just need to be on top of it and aware of it, because if you're not aware of it, then you could be doing stuff that totally impacts your clients that you're not even aware of. So just be aware. I mean, I know Showingtime, I'm going to start being super aware of it. I know Showingtime tells you the agent that's asking for the showing, and maybe if it says the agency is Zillow, I don't know how you guys feel about that. But I definitely would be having conversations with your sellers about it, because it is going to be an issue down the road.
Katie,
oh, go ahead, Mike.
sorry. I mean, do you think, and maybe that's a conversation with our board, obviously Zillow's national and then we are regional as far as the board. Do you think that's more of a conversation as our association could say we want to have the option as agents to opt out? Zillow can do what they want in Texas or whatever state, but here in York County, we're going to say no. We're not going to allow the buyer to walk up in the property because, there's so many avenues of things can go wrong. How do we know that person isn't just a buyer who's just casing the property to break into it later? And I know obviously that's what you sell to a consumer, and let the seller know that's you don't want to have that happen. But shouldn't we? I guess I've been around as I've watched this data grab happen, and I used to be on the MLS committee, and I just don't understand why we have continually allowed our data to be taken from us, which is our information, and then be sold back to us and held hostage in a way. I don't know why we don't, as the industry, put our foot down and say, okay, stop. You know what I mean? Like, I know Zillow has a great platform, but Zillow does not exist without our listings. So why do we not have more control? Maybe I'm asking a dumb question. Sorry.
No, you're not. And I think this is something that has come up that maybe people don't know about, but Zillow is actually now a real estate company. So they got their brokerage license and that they are hiring people, and their real estate agents are paid on salary and hourly, not on commission based. So very similar to the other ones, but what's happening is each real estate company has to join the board to be allowed access to the MLS. And maybe that is something that we need to bring up to Tina and we need to bring up to Reed and say, hey, are they talking about this at all? Because if they do allow Zillow access to our MLS, there goes everything. I mean, they'll then have access, the same access that we do.
We'll all be racing to the bottom for the lowest commission.
Yep, exactly. So you just need to start thinking about how you want to present Showingtime and all of these new things that are happening to your clients, because it is a big deal. And if you're not being aware of it, you're behind the ball.
Yeah.
Another question for you on as far as Showingtime. Like, I've always liked Showingtime for the fact that I don't have to take calls and schedule my showings. And so if that becomes what Zillow is doing, what are we doing, and what are some plans and talks that allow us to schedule our showings? You know what I mean? I don't want to take all the phone calls for showings. You get a hot property is going to have 15 calls. Who wants to do that?
Yeah, what other platforms are going to be available to eliminate what Zillow is trying to do?
Very good question. And I have a feeling that this coming week with Family Reunion, there's going to be a big discussion on it, because it was just announced yesterday afternoon. So this is a brand new thing that I'm bringing to you guys. And you'll see a lot of it on Facebook. You'll see a lot of it coming through emails, but I have a feeling that Gary Keller and Josh team are very aware. And if they hadn't been aware prior to yesterday, they will be already trying to figure out how to combat this. Because they are all for us keeping our own data, keeping our own clients, and not losing the leads that are free to us because people are reaching out due to an address. So I will keep you guys updated on all of this as it becomes more apparent, but that was a big announcement yesterday. So I just wanted to bring that to the forefront. Go ahead, Deb.
So when I first got into business, this is going to make me sound really old now. Like, our secretary at the office actually was the one that handled all the showings, and they would call the buyers and the sellers and set that all up. The other thing with Zillow acquiring Showingtime is we put our sellers' phone numbers in there. Zillow can then now call all of our sellers and try to get that listing for themselves then, because of them being their own brokerage. So like, that's a big conflict of interest and that sort of thing going on too.
So it's funny that you said that, Deb, because I've had two other, I don't want to say older agents, but agents that have been in the industry for a while mention that same thing.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe that's what'll happen. And maybe instead of Showingtime, it's going to go through Caitlin. Who knows? And again, I have not had a chance yet to talk to the leadership team about this, but I thought it was something that was super important to bring up here because it is going to be a discussion in family reunion. And I'm sure that somehow they are going to be combating it just like they did with Dotloop. With that being said, it's a great introduction. Something else that's coming out, and it's not at family reunion, but at the end of the month, DocuSign is getting a huge update. Woo! We are now getting templates. So DocuSign is now not only going to be fillable, but we're also going to have pre-done templates that you can use. So those of you that have loved Dotloop and have not wanted to move away from Dotloop because of the easy accessibility of templates for you, now you're going to have those templates and your fillability of being able to fill them, as well as being able to pull into command a lot easier than you were with Dotloop. So that's a big thing. That's why we've seen a couple glitches recently with Dotloop or DocuSign that have been popping in and out. With that, I guess, were there any questions that you guys wanted me to dive into this morning? I want to make this a mastermind to kind of talk about what's going on, what your frustrations are, where you plan to go, and we can take this in any direction.
Well, I do pay for Zillow. I mean, is it not worth it anymore if they're their own real estate company?
I think you have to make that decision on your own. And honestly, have you done any Facebook ads through command?
I just messed around with with Facebook and putting on different stuff. Yeah.
So you can get a lead in Facebook for 45 cents. So how much are you paying for your leads through Zillow?
$300 a month.
300 a lead. So, a month. Okay. So how many leads are they providing you a month?
I'm not sure. They say like 5 or 6, but
Okay.
I think I get more.
Okay. So say
But they
maybe
don't all
10,
pan
so
out.
$30.
Yeah.
That's okay. So $30 each. So when I run a $30 Facebook campaign, I get about 60 leads. So is it better to have the 60 leads, or is it better to have the one through Zillow that's probably you're not the only one calling? I mean, you have to make it, if Zillow is good to you, if you're getting the 4 times return that Gary tells you should be getting from all of your lead generation sites, and if that's what you're getting from Zillow, from realtor.com, then you should continue doing so. But you just have to remember that Zillow is now its own company. Zillow is now allowing buyers to go into houses without a real estate agent, and the real estate agents that are with Zillow are being paid hourly. So it just depends on what you want. I know a lot of agents in Keller Williams that still pay for Zillow leads, and they do well with them. Same with realtor.com, same with Trulia, same with all the other lead sources that are out there. You just have to see what's best for you. Are you getting the return on investment that you're putting into it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think I am, but will I with Facebook leads? I don't know.
Well, you have to track it. So the first step is tracking. So if you close 4 Zillow leads a year, are you covered in the 300 times 12 is $3,600 that you're paying? Do you get that back times 4? So are you making 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, some $1,000 off of those 4 closings?
Yeah,
if you're not making it, it's probably not worth it.
Okay.
So anybody else have any input on that? Thoughts? What do you do? Do we like Zillow leads? Do we not like Zillow leads? How about realtor.com?
I just started with that.
Okay. Does anybody else do
that-
any lead?
Yeah, that
Go ahead,
Op
Lisa.
City app
Yeah.
that kind of went around. I'm not real impressed with that. I've gotten several phone calls, but every time I speak to somebody, it's almost like a clickbait kind of thing, because the property that they requested is not the property that they sent over. I'm getting really bad information from them, from the Op City people that are calling me. I'm kind of considering just dropping the whole thing just because it's been really bad information coming across from Op City. Anybody else have any experience with them?
Just started with it yesterday.
I can't. I've given up. I'm literally have been holding my phone in my hand.
Yeah.
It will chime and say new buyer. I will click on it and it's not there. How
Same.
much faster can I get?
Same. Yep. I had that same problem
So
too.
to me, there's something not a, I don't know. Like Realtor.com was, I think back in the day, I feel like Realtor.com was like the number one. And then I think slowly Zillow and other sites have kind of surpassed them, and I hear the trend talking to different agents from different companies that they're not using Realtor.com. And I applaud them for trying to, obviously stay relevant and have something new. But this Op City, for us in this market, and I don't understand, like every lead is coming from Harrisburg. And I don't mind running to Harrisburg for a decent lead, but I want to run to Harrisburg for a lead for 60 grand. And then they keep
Right.
coming there, always Harrisburg, which makes me wonder, like, are these really lead sources coming from all over the counties? Or is it just one place they're plugging away? Why am I only getting a Harrisburg lead for 60 grand every time? And every time I try to click on it, I've never been able to win it.
It's interesting you say that, Mike, because I was getting a ton of leads for Harrisburg, and I was like, I don't travel up to Harrisburg, so let's plug my point of interest down on the Maryland border.
Mm-hmm.
Since I have done that and changed that, I have not gotten one lead come through. Not one. So it's interesting. Now,
Yeah.
I know that out in Chambersburg, it's been really good for them.
Wow.
And again,
I don't know.
I guess this.
Yeah, no, I get it. It don't cost
You
me
have to
anything.
find what's best for you.
What? Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I
say
think
it
you
again,
just have to
Katie.
find the lead generation tactics that's best for you.
Yeah, no,
do
I
you
agree.
like the cheaper leads, or yeah, I mean, there's so many out there. I mean, I know I'll plug in Roxanne right now, does a lot with oh shoot, where does she do it? It's a 30% referral, but she gets leads that are actually interested in purchasing, that are already pre-approved. And they work for her. She's able to show houses. She just got one the other day for $1 million listing. So I mean, that works, but are you?
Which one is that? Which one is it, Katie?
Deb, do you know?
I do not.
Is it Redfin? Redfin.
Oh, okay.
It's similar to Opsity.
Yeah, I was on that site the other day. I was looking at that, and I really couldn't make heads or tails of what that was. Like, I was curious about it, and so I would do searching, like my zip code, and then it would say, "Sorry, we don't have an agent in this area yet." And I'm like, "Well, how is that really good lead generation?" You know what I mean? Like, then if I'm a buyer or consumer and I find this site and I know I want to be in 17360 and they tell me there's no agents, I'm clicking away. All right, I'm going to the next site. Buyers aren't going to say, well, let me sit here and patiently wait till you get an agent so I can find my perfect little home. Yeah. I mean, we all do the same thing as consumer. You go to Google, if you don't find in your first 1 or 2 lines, you're like, I'm out.
So with all of that being said, how are you guys using your lead generation within Command? How is that going? Are any of you sending out the mailers? Are any of you doing the campaigns? What are your ideas, thoughts, results?
Well, I have a question about the smart plans. Like when I'm in the library and looking at the steps, sometimes you'll see like the first step is link MNN or whatever. Like, I don't know what that is in the smart plan, or how would you even link it to something? And then the other thing is like the neighborhood one, it ends after 90 days. So I was told to make the last step like a repeat neighborhood. So I need to know how to do that. I haven't played with it enough to.
Yeah, I don't understand smart plan enough. I come to an end with it and I'm like, okay, now what I do? I forgot this part.
Well, then let's dive right in. I'm going to share my screen here and we're going to go to Command. And we're gonna go to smart plans. So Deb, your first question was in regards to the first step will be attached to SNS or whatever.
Yeah.
That is attaching it to another smart plan. So they have another smart plan. So if you download that smart plan, my recommendation would be to just delete that step unless you have that smart plan and want them to be on that smart plan.
Okay.
So I know that Connor Tuck has a fantastic smart plan right now. And he is a tech driver out in New Jersey. So he has one of the top Facebook follow-up. So buyer education, apparently he's recruiting. Oh, he must have taken it away. But so this buyer education designed to establish good rapport with first-time buyers and educate them about the process from prepping your finances the way to the closing date. So if you're looking at these, I just pulled this one up because I know it a little bit better. You can see that it was published when it was published. So this is somebody that has actually created this smart plan that has published it for other agents to use. Underneath that, you will see how many agents are using the smart plan. So this one has 5,365 agents actively using the smart plan, and it's got 4.5 stars on it for 37 people. That means that most likely this is a smart plan that I at least need to take a look at, okay? So the next step is the steps in it, the duration, and the touches. So it's a 15-day duration. In those 15 days, you get 10 touches, and there are 19 different steps. So if I click the view steps, it will tell me what the steps are. Stop doing that. On, so this one has an email, 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 and then it follows with an email. Now, if I hover over it, it tells me what this email is. So each one of them are different. So this is a great one. Highly recommend to any buyers that are interested. So you can, so what I'm going to do, I like this. There's nothing that I have to do. It automatically plugs my name in here. So you see where it says parentheses agent name, it'll automatically plug your name in there. Same as when it says, hey, contact first name, parentheses first name, it'll plug whoever your smart plan is attached to their name in there. So I'm going to say, I really like the smart plan. I'm going to add the smart plan. So my buyer education, I like that title, so I'm not going to change it. I'm going to click the download button. My buyers was added to the smart plan. I can now cancel out of this. I'm still in the library, so I want to go back to my smart plans, and don't judge me. Okay, good, it's at the top. So now say it says aloha instead of hello. If you want to edit that, because a lot of them need to be edited, you're going to find it here. I'm going to click over to the side here where it says edit. I'm going to click the edit button. Little pencil. Okay, so this is where it starts being able to be edited. So if you do Facebook leads, or if you have, if you tag people as buyers, sellers, all that kind of stuff, you can add what's called a trigger event. So I'm going to click add a trigger event. And this is, so the category is a contact. Trigger event is a contact tag. And I'm going to select the tag that I want the smart plan to automatically happen to whenever that's been tagged. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pick my Facebook. Facebook lead. Okay, so I'm going to choose the trigger. So what happens is when I create a campaign for a Facebook campaign and I get leads in, I'm going to have that campaign automatically tag those people as a Facebook lead. When that happens, when they come in as a lead into your CRM, they will be tagged with a Facebook lead, which will automatically trigger this smart plan to start sending them emails automatically. Does that make sense? Any questions on that?
I could put Zillow Lead there.
You could, yes. And then anytime you plug in a contact and tag them as Zillow, it'll automatically start this smart plan.
Okay.
Okay. And then as you see here, any contact that already has this tag will not be added to the smart plan. You would like to add them, use the add to smart plan feature in contacts or smart plans. Okay. So I'm going to confirm the trigger. I'm going to then scroll down. So this is the first email that's being sent, the subject line, who the email will be coming back to if they reply to the email. It's just a simple email. They're not using a design. You can design templates within designs. I like what it says. I don't want to change anything. So you just want to make sure that it looks okay for you. Because if it doesn't, then you need to edit it.
Will it put in their names?
Yes, it will. So if you see up here, it has parentheses contact, first name, first name. So within that parentheses, it's going to fill in whoever is attached to the smart plan.
Okay.
So whoever it's being sent that information, that's the first name that's in there. And then as you scroll down here, you'll see that parentheses, agent email. So I probably want to plug in my email here because it's going to be consistent, right? So I want to plug that in. So anything that's blue highlighted will automatically be. These cell phone numbers will not be. I mean, these blank ones. So I want to plug my information in there. Oops. Right? So you just want to make sure through all of the emails and all of the smart plans that everything is correct. Once that's done, you can see over here, add to smart plan. So if I wanted, so say I had, this was my buyer 1.0, my first buyer introduction. So say now I started showing them houses. After this, I want to aim for showing them houses. I'm going to add them to the smart plan. Maybe at the very end of this is to download my app. So that way they can start looking and seeing houses on my app. And it brands them to me. So I'm going to add, I'm going to click, I scrolled all the way down to the bottom and it says add to smart plan. Now, when I look here, it's going to show all of my smart plans that have been downloaded. So we're going to look for promote my app smart plan. Okay, so on day 15, it's going to start the promote my app smart plan, which I already know about. Okay, any questions about that? You can add any of these things that are on the right-hand side here in. Okay, so I'm going to then click the save button. It's going to tell me it's saved and then I have to back out of this. So all changes to your smart plan have been saved. So I'm going to click the back button. Let it load. Let it load. So now, if I look at the steps for my buyer education smart plan, it's going to drop it down. And if I scroll all the way down to the bottom, it's going to, I guess it doesn't show the whole thing.
Does it just go out to the new ones or can you put the old ones in there?
So I haven't gotten there yet. So if you want to have, if you have current clients that you haven't been able to get a hold of that you want to add them to, there's this add contact button on the right-hand side. That's very simple. It's right next to the edit button. You're going to click that button and it's going to ask you who you want to add to the smart plan. So you can search by names, you can use tags. So like it said, nobody with the tag Facebook lead has popped up yet. So I'm going to plug in Facebook. Here you go. So Facebook lead. And then it's going to pull up all of the leads that I have for Facebook. And I can plug on, oops. I can plug in whoever I want to from this tag here. Okay. So you can click as many as you want. Now for some things like the quarterly call plan, let's see if I can find that one. Here we go. Quarterly call plan. When I add people to the quarterly call plan, so I'm going to add contacts here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to add the smart plan. It's going to ask me if I want the smart plan to start immediately, or if I want it to start it as a designated date, or if I want to start it over the next few days. So if I'm adding 200 people to my quarterly call plan, I don't want in a quarter from now to have to call 200 people that day. I don't want reminders for that. So it says here, you can choose how many people. So if I select everybody in my database, which you should be doing this, wink, wink, to be on the quarterly call plan, so that way you know how many people to call that day. And you want to say, I want to call 3 people a day. So I'm going to plug in maximum contacts per day. Well, I only added 3. So I want to say maximum contacts for this smart plan every day to get notified to call is 3. And then I'm going to confirm it. So that way in a quarter from today, so 45 days from today, whatever, how many ever days it is, you will get your first notification saying you need to call the first 3 people on the list. The day after that, 3 more people will pop up. The day after that, 3 more people will pop up. And then every person that pops up, it's going to be a quarter from that date that you called them. You got the notification to call. Does that make sense?
And Katie, that was something they went over yesterday in that Tech 2.0 about this
Yep.
quarterly call plan. However, now I already had that downloaded, and I was trying to follow along with them. And I get a notice up on the screen that says this is an active smart plan. And editing is limited for smart plans that are currently active.
Yes. So the smart plans that you currently have clients on, you are not able to edit them. So to be able to edit a smart plan, you have to have no clients on them. So you have to remove all the contacts from them.
Okay.
So, and then edit the plan and then put them all back on it.
Okay. Now, also
Makes
the
sense.
fact that, with I'm in the productivity group, the smart plans, all my contacts are pulled over in the productivity group. So I need to put the smart plan over in that.
So yes, so when it's with you need to talk to Greg. Greg's in charge of making sure all the smart plans are, so smart plans are teamified, which means that if your contacts are in the team, your team needs to have smart plans. And if your contacts in your individual account, there are smart plans for individuals. So I'm gonna have to play around with that with him, Bob, to see if you can transfer a smart plan from one account to the next account. I don't know if that's possible, or the best thing to do is publish the smart plan that you like to use, go into the team profile, download that smart plan, put your name on it somewhere so people know whose it is. And then go back to your personal and unpublish it so nobody else can take it unless you want to share it with people. That would be my recommendation. What other questions do you guys have? What else do you want to talk about? I know we've gone over some major topics today.
It still seems really confusing for me, but I'm going to mess with it.
That's the best way to do with it. Just play around with it. That
Yeah.
Connor Tuck smart plan is, I would recommend that is, if you're doing Facebook leads, that's the one that you want to connect them all to.
I guess my
Susan, you've
thing
been very
Facebook
quiet.
is I kind of look at it like if I was a buyer, where would I go to look for houses right now? And I think Zillow's where I'd go. And that's,
Then that works.
I
I'm
got
not
a
saying don't do
Facebook.
Zillow.
I got a Facebook to look for friends.
There you go.
Oh, I don't know.
I have two people that I'm working with now looking at buying, and they're coming to me saying that they've seen things on realtor.com and Zillow that I haven't even seen yet.
Yeah.
So I'm having to go back in and try to do some backpedaling.
Well, can I give you a word of advice with that, Bob? This is Jenny. And I've always, whenever I engage someone, I explain that I can provide them information as quickly as it comes onto the market. And if they rely on Zillow and they rely on realtor.com, that's always dated information.
Yeah.
I mean, I always say that, and I say that also information on Zillow and realtor.com can be altered and is not as accurate as the information that we can provide as realtors, is how I present that. Not saying anything wrong or right about them, just saying that it's outdated. And I'll say, have you ever seen a listing that has been published, but it's been off market for at least 6 months and it's still active on Zillow? And
Yeah.
they're like, yeah. And it's like,
I
well,
have,
that's
yeah,
because
we've run
Zillow
into that.
doesn't have an obligation and a commitment to the association and the state board to ensure things are accurate.
Mhm.
And no one's overseeing them. And that's how and then that stops them like that.
I have run into that, especially with my one client with realtor.com. We've run into that where he's showed me the listing on Realtor and it's different than what I was able to find on MLS and on Bright. I have them set up for an automatic email for anything new coming on the market. But he's still coming up, they're still coming up some before you can see it, which is, kind of.
Yeah.
I always just tell my clients, if you want to search on any other site, just shoot me the address and I'll let you know if it's available or not. And once they get Zillow and they send me 5 or 6 addresses that they found on Zillow and they find that none of them are active, then they stop looking on there.
Bob, I wonder if in your situation it was active previously, taken off the market and reactivated at some point, that they're still seeing it. That I bet is probably what's going on if you've had that happen.
In some cases that was, yeah. In one case it was, they actually had an address, but they were showing pictures of another listing. Or another house, which was listed a few doors down. So everything was, so I had to straighten him out on that one.
Yeah, that happened with Op City too. The listing that 2 of the referrals that I got from there, the addresses that they had were either active under contract or had already been sold previously. So I'm not sure why. Yeah, those wherever they were looking, I think Op City is coming from realtor.com, but everything that they were looking at was already under contract and they couldn't see that. They just saw it as being available and it was, already under contract. So it was kind of disappointing.
Yeah, and that's what's tough with this market right now, because Zillow, realtor.com, truly all those websites don't update as quickly as the MLS does. MLS is real time, and that's what I tell everybody. You can't get much better than real time. So we have enough time for one more conversation. What conversation do you guys want to have? I know we already spoke about the Showingtime issue with showings. We talked about Zillow. We talked about triggers, smart plans, lead generation. We talked about what else? What can I help with? Susan, you've been quiet. I'm gonna pick on you. Go ahead, Ginny.
I just have a question since I jumped on late, the Showingtime. I was intending to just put my information in and do agent preview that they're not accessing. I'm not putting any information in of my clients.
That's a smart way to do it.
And I do that. I'll do open house preview. Like if I'm doing an open house, I'll block that time. But then I'll also do if agent preview, and I'll just put showing as the name, and they don't have any access. Because first of all, I never put the email address in. I'm lazy about that. If I do put an email address in, I'll put mine in. is what I figured I'd do until someone creates a better, reservation system.
Imagine that the Realtors Association is going to allow this. I mean, something's going to have to happen. I mean, they show someone else. I mean, we'll do showing center some other way, something.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of realtors
Yeah.
will go and do the manual old process if they're that uncomfortable. But honestly, I'll put my name in. If they want to contact me, go ahead. I'll tell them, what life's all about. But that I just put my name in.
Mhm.
Can I say something?
Go right ahead.
Okay, so I have been in the business for 18 years now, but recently new to this area. And I do a lot of high end, and I would never, ever use showing time. And even here, I'm going to do the same thing. I make sure the buyers are pre-qualified. You're not going to see one of my listings unless you have a pre-qualification letter. And I like to talk to the agents because if there's anything special about the house, they don't know about it. I want to make sure I'm going to point out to the agent showing the house all the special features that they're more than likely going to miss. And I don't care if I have to read 20 calls out a day. I'm trying to protect my sellers and get them the best people in their homes. So I would never use showing time.
Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome.
No, it's good for us to know because we don't know.
Well, there's so many looky-loos out there, and there's scammers and everything else. And if you're not, if you're just you want to see how their house is decorated, or you have nothing better to do on a Saturday afternoon, you're not going to see my listing. Sorry. You can look at the pictures online.
So we can put
Way
on,
of seeing it.
we can put on our listing, call listing agent to set up all showings.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think Greg
Yep.
even, they have to contact Greg, because when we did a listing, the showing time actually has to contact him directly. And then he contacts the owners to see if it's okay. That's how
Yeah,
we did
he's
it.
told me about that. I like that idea too. And I think that's what Susan does too. You just tell your people when there's going to be a showing. They don't
Right,
get any
yes.
say in it.
Well,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll even have the seller's home, but out of the way. And if any of the agents have any questions, I just run over to the sellers and ask them certain things that I might not know. I try to know as much as possible, but this way the agent will know, and it makes her look good too. And a lot of times on the higher end, they want me to be there just for their protection. But I don't get involved.
How do you handle that, Susan? I've had that a couple times because I do big farm listings, and I've had them want me to be there for every showing. And I did that once, and I was like, never again will I do this because it was so much time that I wasted for myself that I could be.
That's a real tough one. But like I said, I make sure that they're serious buyers that are going into the homes. And if there's not a lot of spectacular features to the home, I'll try to convince them that, I've already told the agent everything that needs to be said. And sometimes they're okay with it. But like on the real high end, I will always be there.
We're excited to have you, just to let you know that.
Oh, thank you.
You
We're
are
excited. We're just finishing up. My daughter and I are just finishing up some things to get together because we're getting our Maryland license as well. So we're trying to get everything put together before we hit the road.
What office are you in, Susan?
We're in the Hanover office.
Oh, me too.
Oh, well, we've never been
Just-
to the office. We live right down the street from the office, but we've never been in the office.
Just so
Okay.
you guys know, Susan was a luxury agent from Florida, if I'm correct on that one.
Yes, yes.
And she's
St.
the only
Petersburg and
one-
Clearwater.
Yep, she's the only one in our market center that has qualified for the luxury. So you now have to qualify for luxury. It's on a rolling 24 months. You have to have 4 listings over the price point of $750, or 4 sales over the 750 price point. So
Right,
she's the
right.
only one in our entire market that has qualified for that. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, I know that when I go in the Hanover office, there's no one there. Kind of, but I guess it's COVID. Is that because of COVID? I mean,
Yes.
it'll be a lot better. More people go in the office when COVID's over.
Yes.
'Cause
Yes.
it
Hanover,
does help.
before COVID, Neil and Colby were in there quite a bit.
It does help to go in there and be around people, be around other agents.
I have a feeling, I know that that office is somewhat new. And I have a feeling that they've quickly outgrown the space that they have. So and this probably, I can't tell one way or the other, but I'm sure that they most likely will be looking for a larger space for all the agents once COVID is over. But yes, as of right now, Gettysburg, Hanover are, I don't believe that they're allowing agents to come in and work at the offices.
Yeah, I think it probably, Hanover probably definitely has outgrown it.
Oh yeah, very quickly. That grew a lot quicker than we expected it to, so.
Mhm.
Well, if you guys don't have any more questions, I'm gonna let you go. I've taken enough of your time today. I hope this conversation was good and kind of gave you an update on what was going on with tech and in the market. And I'll look forward to seeing you guys at Family Reunion and then again next month. Just a little plug too, we are doing a Family Reunion Mastermind next Tuesday, 2 weeks Tuesday. So keep an eye out for that one. That'll be really good. Okay.
Thank you, Katie.
All right, thank you.
No problem. Have a good one, you guys.
Yep.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thanks, Katie.
Thank you. Bye-bye.